it is our privilege to invite Vice Admiral Alvin Holsey, the Military Deputy Commander of U.S. Southern Command. He most recently served as Deputy Chief of Naval Personnel and Commander of Navy Personnel Command. And at sea, he deployed with USS Jesse L, the USS Nicholson, the USS Vreeland, the USS Vella Gulf, the USS Gettysburg, and the USS Simpson. And the moderator today is Bruce Vitor, Director of Research and Operations at the FIU Jack Gordon Institute. Bruce, over to you.
Thank you, Leland. So this morning and throughout the conference, we'll be able to hear about some of the drivers of instability in the hemisphere. So it's great to have an opportunity to talk with Vice Admiral Holsey and to hear about some of the operations, activities, and investments that U.S. Southern Command is making. Sir, I'd like to start off with a question in terms of, in what ways is Southcom strengthening relations with partner countries across Latin America, and how does this factor into the building of a wider security network and regional capacity for resilience against crises?
So thanks, Bruce, for that question, and thanks to FIU for hosting this very important conference today as well. As General Richardson mentioned earlier, the things we're seeing in this hemisphere right now are very dynamic challenges. I'll share that my first deployment as a young naval officer aviator over 31 years ago, I actually did counter-drug operations in the Eastern Pacific and the Caribbean. And I'll share with you that there's so much more to this AR than just drug ops. There are challenges today that if we don't take deliberate steps, I think it's gonna affect our neighborhood, this area for the decades to come. I think the best way to answer your question is kind of tell you who we are as Southcom, and then go the route of saying, how do we actually engage? So who are we at Southcom? The boss covered a lot of great things in our video, but I'll share that for folks who don't know, we're one of 6 geographic combatant commanders responsible for the contingency planning, operations, and security cooperation in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean, what we call our neighborhood. And that term neighborhood is very important. The boss mentioned as well. Well, why is that? Our neighborhood, because of the physical proximity, because of our interrelated culture and our values, and also because our concern and shared, if you will, security and economic challenges. So again, it's our neighborhood, and we have to be able to be those trusted partners. And when you look at our mission and how we view our mission, I can go through and do the 4 pillars, but the 2 that really stand out to me are to be able to rapidly respond to crises. That's one thing we have to be able to do. Hurricane season starts off in another month. This past year, we've seen earthquakes, we've seen floods, wildfires, volcanoes. We have to be the trusted partner in this region. So that's one part of it, rapidly respond to crises. The other part is we have to be able to build regional capacity. That's important because as we build regional capacity, it allows our partners in this region to be able to engage and do more and stand up in the lead, if you will. Our view of this vision, if you will, is that of a secure, free, and prosperous Western Hemisphere. That's our desire. And so how do we get there? How do we engage? We have this term called security cooperation, but before I share that piece there, I want you to understand that we are in what we call a posture-limited theater. So what does that mean? At any given time, from a Southcom standpoint, we have anywhere from 2,500 to maybe 3,500 troops downrange. We don't have 100,000 forces in theater. That would never happen here. So how do we engage? A primary way of engaging in this theater is through the security cooperation. Security assistance, security cooperation, that allows our partners to build that military capability. We have foreign military sales, foreign military financing. We also have international education and training. So by assisting our partners in building that, developing those capacity, military capacity, and then being there with them to help provide the necessary training and sustainment and maintenance, what it does, it allows them to have those extra tools to be able to take on illegal activity, illegal trafficking, and those malign activities in general. So again, Southcom engagement is through the security cooperation to help build our partner capacity.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'd like to follow up with leaning in on your strategic and military expertise. Can you discuss some of the best practices identified in dealing with the sharp rise and increasing the sophisticated illicit actors within the hemisphere?
So when I think about best practices, I think of those things that will actually improve interoperability, improve communications, improving those reps and sets that we can get together and work with our shipmates and teammates to the south. So I would tell you that our joint exercise program is probably the best practice there. So our joint exercise program is still provides a outsized, if you will, return on investment when it comes to building readiness and strengthening those partnerships. So each year, annually, we have 8 multinational exercises where we bring interagencies, allies, partners together and get a chance to get out and take on specific security challenges, as well as building that capability to be more resilient. I'll just touch on 3 of those exercises, if you will, just for the audience to kind of understand. One, we have trade wins, which last year was the largest one to date. This year, Trade Winds 23 will be hosted by Guyana. You're saying basically 23 partner nations. And so in that exercise, we'll be focused on humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, all domain, bringing, again, allies and partners together to get at those tough challenges. And again, we're really excited about that. That's going to be that June, July this time. The second one is what we call UNITAS, or UNITAS, if I pronounce it from Columbia standpoint. But UNITAS is a Navy exercise. I'm a little bit partial to that one as a Navy guy. But again, amphibious exercise, we all domain. And this time we're going to actually practice from a contested environment. Again, bringing aircraft, ships, submarines, sailing, getting those reps and sets side by side and working together. So I think that's a very powerful one as well. The last one I'll touch on is called Resolute Sentinel. It's going to be take place in June, July as well. And that's another more of a civilian military operation as well. Again, all domain, security aspect as well, and then some disaster relief. So again, and we're looking at 9 partner nations being a part of that. So again, bringing our teams together and working as a team and building those reps and sets. When I think about the joint exercise program, it's a great example, I think, of integrated deterrence across all domain, bringing in interagency, allies, partners, building that interoperability, increasing domain awareness, building readiness. And so again, and also get a chance to pull out some of our, again, good intelligence sharing, information sharing aspects as well. So if you look at it all together, I think we look at it as building capacity, building capability, building confidence in our partners. And I think most of all, probably building trust. Again, when something bad happens, we can't just show up and say, hey, I'm Bull and I'm General Richardson and we're here to help. We have to know each other. We have to be able to work with them. So again, these exercises that really great return on investment.
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask one last question before we move on. And in assessing the current security environment within the region, what are some areas of responsibility that Southcom is taking the lead? And where do you see the future trajectory of security cooperation?
I think I'll touch the security cooperation piece first. I mentioned earlier, as a posture limited theater, we have to be able to respond. And so, in short, I see opportunity for security cooperation. We have to be able to respond at the speed of relevance. I think the boss mentioned there in the comments. Our partners have to know that we're there. And so we have to make sure that we're getting them the tools they need to succeed and grow. From the standpoint of where we're leading in this area, I think if you look at our lines of effort, strengthening partnerships, I think it's a key point we're looking at right now. How do we do that? One is our Women's Peace and Security Forum that we do. And it's kind of an initiative we have. It's been around for several years now. But again, when I say women's peace and security, to be clear, it's not a women's issue. It's a people issue. It's about who we are and who we desire to be as leaders, as world leaders. So it's about talent management. And I think you look at some of the regional security challenges that we see today, we have to make sure that we can use the talents and skills of everyone willing to serve. And so again, as we go out into the community, we engage our partner nations, we want to make sure that we put a good face on that and make sure that we're engaging everybody. And that's one of the things we're doing. The other part I'll say that we're working at very closely is with our International Military Education and Training. So what is that? What we do, we'll have partner nations designate promising young officers and enlisted as well to come to some of our service academies, service colleges, and they'll learn anything from leadership, democratic values, make them become a part and understand team democracy and rule of law. These folks who generally come to our schools are senior leaders in their military. Some rise to become chiefs of defense or chiefs of navies. And so again, building those touch points early truly makes a difference. The other part of that is we have something called the WHINSEC, the Western Hemisphere Institute for Security Cooperation. I was just there about 2 months ago, and I was really blown away walking through one of the classes. One class was a emergency management, more first aid, really advanced first aid course. And so as I walked in, we had 24 people in the class. This totally taught in Spanish. Advanced first aid had 2 females from Mexico, one was a nurse, and then had 20 or so other folks there who were commandos in the Navy, Marine Corps, Army of Colombia. And so someone asked them the question about the value of the course. What do you learn from the course? And also, have you ever seen a fellow service member be injured or killed in action? Out of 24 people, about 18 raised their hand. And so again, they were very excited the fact that they're there in the United States being taught this advanced first aid course and learning from us and taking that back down range. So they're very thankful for that. The last part I'll share with you from the standpoint of what place we're leading, I would say it would be our regional security conferences. So every year we host 3 conferences in the Central America, South America, and the Caribbean, where we bring leaders together, bring partner nations together, and talk about those really tough challenges. The last conference, I know cyber came up. It was very prominent in how we get at some of the cyber challenges they're seeing downrange. We talk about foreign military sales. We talk about how to engage and how to build our team. So again, it's a level playing field. Everyone has a voice, and it's important that we do that to make sure we can build our teammates and again, take care and get up these challenges in the region. But thanks for your time.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate your time as well, and I look forward to working with you more closely as we go on from here. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.